Table culture matters more. It's like, thank you for adding nothing to the conversation.
And that is precisely why I do not talk about table culture. Like, when I'm talking about game design, when I'm talking about how do I make games, what are the games that I like, why do I like them, when I talk about rules and all that kind of stuff, I never talk about table culture because it's like, yes, it can matter more in the same way that anything can. It is an irrelevant mattering. What does that mean? How can it matter more and yet be irrelevant? Here's an idea. If I try to make the greatest sunscreen possible, not just try, I do. I make the perfect sunscreen. It's chemically pH neutral and has the right chemicals and all of the. Can you tell I'm not a chemist or a dermatologist or whatever? Let's say that I make the best sunscreen possible. It cannot be improved. If it's a rainy or a cloudy day, it literally does not matter. It does not matter what I've achieved. Nothing matters. Better example, if you stay inside, because yes, UV can penetrate cloud cover. If you stay inside, it does not matter. If you are in a UV isolated environment, it does not matter what the sunscreen is doing. It is irrelevant. The same way that you could make the greatest TTRPG possible, and if you put it at a table where the table culture says we don't read your rules, we do whatever we want, then it does not matter. So when I'm talking about game design and how to make rules and what rules do well or poorly or why they work, I'm doing it from a space of I am always assuming a table culture of you follow the rules as best as you can, no one's perfect, and you care about the spirit in which the rules were intended to operate. So, in other words, I'm never going to say that 5e is a bad system. I will say that 99% of table cultures that play 5e have no fucking clue how to run it, and therefore they think it's a system that has to be homebrewed into oblivion in order to make it work. When that's not what's happening. What's happening is they're playing this game when they should be playing one of these games. To which you say, no, your fun is wrong. No, your fun is not wrong, but this is why I don't talk about table culture. Because you're going to say, well, I just want to play the dragon game, to which point I say, okay, cool. Then but the dragon game doesn't work for me. It's like, man, if only there were solutions. If only there was a way to solve that. Your table culture is to be a nonsense person. I'm getting a little caustic about Bastic, but this is all to say that you cannot, as a game designer, guarantee table culture, which means you must design in good faith. You can provide hints as to what like an ideal table culture might be, but ultimately you don't have control of that part. It's why one of the best things that 5e did was it said we're not going to try and police all of the rules to the extent that no table culture will violate them, because that's kind of what they tried to do in 3.5 was over arbitrate and make it a guaranteed result at every table, and you're just never going to achieve that. It's not possible.